It's time for another Perry's Inside Scoop as we welcome you inside the Dome experience. Perry's is proudly made in New York. Coach Babers alongside as well as we look ahead to the Orange's last Dome game of the season, and it means a number of things. And before we get into the game, we can get some of the themes of the week into our discussion here, Coach. Number one is you think about last game of the year at home. It is senior day, and that brings about all the emotions and all the things we talk about every year. What's really unusual, though, you have 3 more games to play after this. How do you handle the push and pull of that?
You know, it is different, but I think the main thing is that it's the JMA Dome, and we've got the senior walk. Traditionally you get the parents and all the kids out there before the game. I shouldn't say kids, grown men before the game. And then we've got to play a very emotional football game in front of family and friends. And then you go into the locker room and you get an opportunity to come back out and share it with all the Otto's Army and the community and the student body. And it's a very emotional deal for a guy playing his last game on his home venue.
When you've been in coaching for as long as you have, 35-ish years, that's 35 senior days and 35 emotional days and what have you. You ever noticed it in the game that a guy, either way, I guess, the guy either was distracted on one hand or hit harder or something like that because he knew it was his last time?
I think those guys really go out there and give it their all. And the thing that really gets me, and I hope my team gets it, is that the other guys play so hard so that those seniors can have an opportunity to go out on top. And the intensity really does change.
There's no question about that. And visiting with your players early in the week, I had an underclassman say, yeah, we do it for them and try to make sure that they have a positive experience to wrap the season. So we'll get back to that in a second. Another is that it's Military Appreciation Day, and thanks to our friends at Broadview for helping to support that. Again, I know that means a whole lot to you, and it's an opportunity to treat them to a game, and I think you kind of look at it the other way, for your team to live up to what you're trying to present to the military personnel that may be here.
Thank you for your service. I mean, you can't get away from what that life is. I've been in there, and if your father is serving or your mom is serving, then that family is serving, and it really is a family affair when it comes down to that stuff. And I lived it, and I don't compare anything to it. But outside of that service that stands alone, I really think that football is the next best thing that you can do to learn camaraderie and esprit de corps.
I know you have an appreciation for what Florida State has done. They hit some hard times, and Coach Norvell has got it going. Lots of 4 and 5 stars and that type of thing. They're starting to see the results of that.
No doubt, they've got their 4 and 5 stars, and like I said, a lot of transfers went into that school, like into all schools, but a little bit more than normal. And they've picked right, and they're really, really hot right now, and they're really playing well as a team.
Jordan Travis comes in with Garrett Schrader and a couple others right up there among the best dual threat quarterbacks in the conference. When you size him up, what's the first thing that you think about that will be a key for you defensively? Because you've had a hard time stopping the run, and now here's a quarterback that adds to it.
Well, I think the biggest thing is his legs based off of last year and the thing that he did when, switched the game and they kicked the field goal and they beat us down there when we thought we had a good opportunity to beat them. So he has the legs, but I think the thing that's really changed is that he's a better passer. He's staying within the framework of the offense. And then if something breaks down, then he uses his legs, which reminds me of somebody that maybe I know and maybe you know. And those are the quarterbacks that are really climbing the charts as far as the NFL is looking at, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's not one of those guys that's on the NFL's list.
Well, the guy we know is Garrett Schrader, and I think the way this has been presented publicly, and only you and the medical people and Garrett know what's truly going on here, but maybe could have played, let's not risk it against Notre Dame, gave it a go in warm-ups at Pittsburgh, decided it wasn't in everyone's best interest for him to be out there. Is time helping here, and are we correct to say that it's not a situation where through a little bit of warm-ups or a little bit of practice, he's at risk of worsening his situation?
Well, I don't want to give away too much, but I would say that he's getting better. I guess that's the key thing, is he's getting better, and when we really think that he's able to protect himself, he'll be out there.
All right, Coach, lots on the line again, in this one, we always kind of leave with a thought about what is in your mind as far as the biggest determining factor in the game on Saturday night.
I think the biggest determining factor is if we can get some of the guys that are iffy to be able to play in the game and play to an adequate level, it would give us the best opportunity. I thought last week we cut down on the penalties, turnovers. We've been doing okay with that, and then we normally go to physicality, but let's go to health. The third thing being health. If we can get some of those cats back and they can play somewhat healthy, I think that'll give us our best opportunity to win.
Well, if he actually is a cat you could use back, but he's in the NFL.
Yeah, I would love to have another Iffy.
Coach, thanks for the time. Best of luck.
Thank you, Matt.
All right, shout out to Iffy Melifonwu, and now getting paid to play on Sundays. That is our Perry's Inside Scoop, brought to you by Perry's Ice Cream, proudly made in New York.